And I'm gonna.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about Greece. So I'm just going to give you a quick little background on us here at Traverse. I'm Ashley. I'm the founder of Traverse Journeys. We do small group impact tours and retreats and self-guided itineraries in about 25 countries across the world. Our retreat leader, Leti, for this particular Greece sailing retreat. She couldn't join us today after all, but she will be your yoga instructor for the Greece retreat. It's someone we've worked with for years and years. Fun story, Letty and I were neighbors back when I lived in Austin, so we've known each other for over a decade now. So just a little bit about Traverse. So our motto is people, planet, purpose. We really infuse every trip with very human-centered experiences, getting to know partners on the ground, coming home with memorable experiences so that both parties really benefit from this. We are really mindful about our footprint on the earth. We visit really beautiful places across the globe and take good care of the environment around us. And we have really an emphasis on meaning, keeping money in the local communities that we visit. We partner with a nonprofit at each place that we go to, which you'll learn about with Greece as well, so that we can support people doing things by and for their community. So on to Greece. So as you know, we're talking about Greece today. Just a little overview and snapshot. It is in the European Union, as you can see here, just kind of a little bit different from like if you look back from 1995 to today, how that landscape has changed a little bit. Capital is Athens. Population is just a little over 10 million. Language-wise, of course, it's Greek, which is a really fascinating language, such an ancient one, and very, very complex lettering system. So you'll definitely learn some Greek words. About 80 to 90% Greek Orthodox. You'll, of course, also find like Muslim, some Catholic, other religions. It's a parliamentary republic, and they do use the euro. So you may be surprised to know that there are 6,000 or more islands in Greece. About a little over 200 of them are inhabited. There is a lot of mainland. A lot of people think about Greece and the islands, but we actually have a lot to see on the mainland as well. Even though the winters can be mild and wet, when you get a little farther up north, it does actually snow, and of course, hot, dry summers. Some beautiful pictures of Greece. So you can just see kind of some of the places that it goes to. And of course, we know, birthplace of Western civilization. So some of the things that come from Greek history that you'll learn about, especially if you spend a little extra time in Athens, but like the Olympics and democracy, math and science, so much philosophy, theater, which you'll really get to see in some of the sites that we visit on the island because there are the amphitheaters and really ancient architecture. For a period of time, it was under control of the Ottoman Empire, so you'll see some of those influences as well. And when we talk about Greece and think about how they are, we talk a lot about of cultural terms here at Traverse. Greece is very much a collectivist culture, so thinking in terms of we rather than me. It's a very high emphasis on family and relationships. You may have seen those kind of depictions in media, but it's really like part of the culture, around food and gatherings and spending time together. You'll see that relationships are key. Maybe not so much punctuality. Babas, our captain, he likes to talk about Greek maybe time. So ish is good. Groups are very important. Loyalty is very paramount. In more cultural terms, it's what we call a feminine society, meaning there's an emphasis on like working to live rather than living to work. You can see some of these super delicious foods, Greek coffee. They have like a whipped coffee called a freddo, which is you'll just definitely have to experience. You'll see a lot of the Ottoman influence with like, they call this Greek coffee, which is similar to Turkish coffee, things like baklava that you'll see. Here are fun, there's very much like a passion for life. So you might have heard the term Maracay, doing something with soul or creativity, putting something in yourself into it. Also this idea of like a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. You'll very much experience this while you're in Greece. As I mentioned, about 90% Greek Orthodox. This is a really important aspect of people's day-to-day life. So you'll see rituals, it could be that you run into something happening, like people are gathering on the streets around a church. So that's a very important thing. So onward to take a trip. I see Joy, we have you on here. So our amazing first mate, Joy, is with us today. Joy, do you want to say a little bit of a hello as we start to take a trip?
Oh, sure. Hi, Ashley. I'm sorry if I'm talking too slowly, but I'm in the middle of a group with a lot of people. But
Oh,
yeah, I
no
just wanted
problem.
to say hello and pop in. It's a wonderful trip, and I'm looking forward to it. You always bring such a special part about the food and the culture, and then now you're having a yoga instructor, which is terrific.
Amazing. Thank you, Joy. So Joy is our first mate, so we'll get to see her a little bit in this slide here. But we've got our Greek captain, Captain Babis, Joy, our first mate, all manning the ship, and then we have Leti, who is our yoga retreat instructor. So where we're going to be is in the Saronic Gulf. It's tucked between the Greek peninsulas of Attica and Argolis, and I apologize if my pronunciation of certain Greek sites is not perfect. But one of the things we really like about this area is that it's like a really hidden gem compared to super heavily tourist destinations like Santorini and Mykonos. So it's a special spot that we go. You can see this on the map, kind of where it is. So we start, of course, in Athens and we go to the port. And these are the islands and places that we visit. We'll go through each of these in detail. And the order in which we do them depends on the weather. So Captain Babas and Joy are the ones that will make that final call because they want to follow the best path for the time that we have together. So here's Joy on our left. I'm going to just play this little scene. So this is what it's like when we're taking off from port. So when we're leaving, and then here we have Captain Babis, who every day, and he is character beyond character. So he will keep you so entertained. And he shows us what we're going to do every day. So everyone kind of has an idea of the routes. He's very inclusive. I feel like this also is a good demonstration of that collectivist culture of getting everyone on board and showing them.
To stay very close because it's more lake, but for the bad weather or protect of the Athens. You see, the waves not very big to stay. So we are remember.
So that's just to give you a little bit of idea. So how it kind of will go every morning when we're getting ready to depart. Joy and Captain Babis are going to tell you what the plan is for the day, how many hours we're going to be until the next, spot that we go to. And this is what the boat looks like. So of course, every season we have maybe a slightly different boat, but the idea is that you have this top portion that has some covered sections, some uncovered sections. You can see in the front here, we've got some comfy lounge areas that you can go to. We also have stand-up paddle boards and some snorkeling gear. It's a really great place for sea life, watching out for sea life. And then you can see kind of inside the boat, the top layer is where the little kitchenette area is. There's also some seating so that you can sit on the kind of top area in the seating and still be able to see out, but be protected if you want, break from the sun or if you just need a little time by yourself. And then down below is where all of the rooms are. So you can see how it is here. So there's the kitchen areas you can kind of sit. There's also the outdoor area for when we have, lunches and meals and gatherings. So it gives you kind of an idea of what it looks like. And then the rooms are down below, and each room can be set up, each room is set up for 2 people. And if it's 2 people separated, friends or solo people on the trip, it'll be 2 sets of bedding. So it's still one, it's 2 mattresses, but it's still one section, but it'll be separated into 2 if you're coming as a couple, a pair, and we'll set it up as a double bedding setup. So, just for like the sailing experience, as you know, we start and end in Athens. We have our Greek captain, Captain Bobus, and first mate Joy. You can see Joy here in the red here. I think Captain Bobus must have taken the picture. So these are other of our crew sailing together. And exploring these lesser known islands like at our own pace. We stop for snorkeling. Captain Bobus knows like the best spots for that. We have breakfast and lunch on board. We'll talk about food here in a little bit. And it's a small group, like 8 people. And then, so for the retreat part of it, Leti, who's our instructor, as I've mentioned, she's led retreats in many, many places. This particular picture is in Morocco, France, Nepal. So we're going to have daily yoga on the boat with Leti. You have an option of bringing your own mat, or we can get a mat for you in Athens, and then we'll donate it afterwards, so you don't have to carry it home. And as I said, like Leti can, she focuses on Hatha, Vinyasa, Yin, and will really tailor each day's experience with how everyone's feeling. We'll also be doing some timings with sunrise and sunset. She also offers really good breath work. So now we're going to look at like the islands. So just for a little flavor of each island, they're all very distinct. So Agina Island here is famous for its pistachios. So you can see on the left, one of the vendors, there's tons of vendors with like pistachio butter. You'll see some pistachio trees as you're driving along. We really love, one of the great things, we'll be talking about Greek cuisine here in just a minute, but is the freshness and seasonal cuisine that you'll experience there. There's also a really beautiful Doric temple. Each of these islands, you have free time to do kind of what you want, but we have lots of recommendations, and it's super easy, like taxi drive or in some cases walk to get to these places. And the Doric temple is really incredible, very ancient, has really amazing Gulf views. I missed that there's like stuff in the chat. Okay. Just let me know if you need anything. No, Joy, no worries. Do what you need to do. I will continue on. So one of our next spots, Ermione, that we stop at, I'm going to play you a little video again.
1, 2, 3,
So it's just another example of Captain Bobus giving us the daily plan and getting everyone to agree on what the plan is, and off we go. So Ermione is also a really, really beautiful island. They've got quaint cafes and winding streets. It's a place like for a stroll. There's this hilltop chapel that you can see with just absolutely stunning views. I absolutely love that one.
1.
And then also we go to Poros and Hydra. So these are 2 different places where you really get to step back into time. A lot of the streets are really windy. And in fact, in one of them, there aren't even vehicles. So you feel like you're just stepping back into, ancient days where life was slower. You get some time for beach. This particular cafe area, you can see there's a little platform and you can go like down and take a swim. Here are some of those streets that I was mentioning that are you just like go wander for a few hours. It's absolutely beautiful. Get a fresh orange juice or a coffee. And then in Epidavros, there is a really famous amphitheater dating back to the 4th century. I don't think I'm going to pronounce this right, but Asclepius, he's famous for medicine. And so people would come here almost on like pilgrimages for healing. So there's a lot of ancient history. The amphitheater is beautiful, but there's also a museum that you get to go into and learn about like the people that would traverse here. There's also some, additional optional things that you can do during your free time, one of which is this really incredible family-owned winery on Epidavros, which again, these are things that can just be set up like the day of. Like this is also where Captain Bobus is super well connected. He'll ask, who wants to go to the winery? And he'll just like make a couple phone calls and off you go. So it's really fun to see the different wines that they have that are, family owned. In this video, he's showing like some of the old tools that they would use. And then, of course, have a tasting. This is us tasting some wine in the beautiful weather. And then as we've, of course, on the sailing, so every day you get a chance to enjoy the water. So Captain Bobbis finds us little coves like this one. We maybe send someone out to anchor if you want to be the anchor man. And, head out for some snorkeling, some swimming, some stand-up paddle boarding.
But then, after 6 months, in the bank, I have $100,000.
So the last trip that we were there, we saw dolphins and even stingrays, which are really beautiful. There's a lot of chance to see aquatic wildlife. So this is us. This is it's kind of, if you've done group trips before, you bond with your fellow travelers, especially in Greece, you can't help but be just like joyful the whole time. In the evenings, you'll have a chance to like have dinner on the island, get to know people, have a glass of wine. We have a really amazing spot for what we used to do as our farewell dinner, but we're going to do it as our welcome dinner here with views in Athens. And so to switch over, talking a little bit about the food, of course, there's lots and lots of seafood, but Greek cuisine is, of course, very varied. But in terms of the food that you'll experience while being around on the islands, soups and stews, lots and lots of really hearty soups and stews, seafoods of all kind. In the mornings, you'll have kind of a spread that Joy will put out of cured meats, cheeses, olive oil or olives, seasonal fruits and vegetables. There's also really good, like I said, like fresh cheeses, coffees and pastries. In terms of vegan and vegetarian, if you're going out, it can be a little bit challenging, but it is definitely doable. You just have to be a little proactive about it. Lentils are a really good protein. So depending on where you are, it's doable. Pescatarian is much easier because, of course, you have lots of fish. But in terms of greens and vegetables, there's lots of those. In Greece, it's really traditional to have foraged greens for all of the different seasons. So you'll see those served like as a side dish, but you could order them, a big plate of them. If you're gluten-free, that's also quite doable. Rice and potatoes are really good and easy carb sources there. So here's some examples of like on the boat, what you might experience for your like breakfast spread, some kind of cured meat and fruits, the cheese. These are some of those vegetables I was mentioning that are really good. Like baklava or different kinds of pastries. They have like savory ones too, filled with spinach and cheese, that kind of thing. There's like whole grains. Love the Greek greens, the nuts, when we're in Aggie, I pick up pistachios, like olives. We'll also, of course, make coffee in the mornings. And in Greece, they have this really amazing tea called Greek mountain tea that is an herb from the mountains. It's a really hearty, medicinal, delicious. I mean, it tastes it's not caffeinated, but it tastes like an herbal tea and it's really good. We'll make sure you get to experience that. So breakfast on the boat. And these are kind of like the types of places that when you're eating out in the evenings, you can go on your own, but most people love to go, as a group, find a good spot. Again, Captain Bobbis knows pretty much every restaurant owner on every island. So he'll make suggestions. And what's great too is like when you're out on these islands, it's not super expensive. I mean, you could spend 20 to 30 euro and have like a full dinner, glass or two of wine. Like Santorini is going to be much more expensive, for example. There's also other specialties such as like moussaka. One cultural tip for when you do eat your dinners out, going back to this collectivist culture, they will bill you as a group. And it's much easier and highly advised culturally to just have one person pay and then figure it out between you guys, because two reasons, again, this kind of cultural collectivist mentality, like it's hard for them to split the bills. And oftentimes too, like whoever your server is maybe doesn't have authority or, the means to split it up in an easy way. So just in terms of like cultural sensitivity and making it easier for everyone, that's kind of what we recommend. Okay, so just a few travel tips. So, layers are always your friend. We go in May, so it's not like super cold. It can definitely get warm, but you could also have some little like, breezy days or whatnot. I love for this trip having like linen, light, flowy kind of things, not too like tight, sticky wear. I mean, for yoga, of course, like good yoga shorts or pants are good for that. Quick dry is really good to have since you'll be on the boat. But for like loungewear, just like comfy linen pants and a blouse, a couple swimsuits, you can make it really easy. A couple scarves or like easy like pullover linen shirts. For money, it is helpful to have cash for the islands. Again, you'll have euros, so that'll be easy. And then we have notes in your welcome pack about like tipping for the captain and how you can do that. And if you join us in Greece, we've got our live session discount. So if you book by the 28th, which is coming up soon, next week, we'll give you 200 off. You can use this code Greece Live. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more travel coming up. Thanks so much.